this is what we always say about government and incentives. There's no incentives to do the job right. As a matter of fact, there's incentives to do the job wrong and in as a corrupt a way as possible. So, moving on to Epstein not killing himself.
Again.
Government agencies not only do bad shit, but when they get caught doing bad shit, they cover up the evidence. And on today's episode of that, we have a news story from the end of December where the ATF is set to destroy the guns associated with the Obama-era Fast and Furious scandal. And if you're not aware of what that is, we have, listeners outside the United States, so, they may not be aware. Basically, what the ATF was involved in back in the mid-2000s was a program called Fast and Furious. That was the code name for it, where the ostensible purpose was to track down cartels, track down dangerous criminals, by intentionally selling them illegal firearms and then, kind of tracking where those firearms go to get to the big boys. That was the goal. It reached none of its objectives in that regard, but what it did do is it put a lot of illegal weapons into the hands of drug cartels, which were then used to murder innocent people on both sides of the U.S. border.
A government
acted irresponsibly and didn't anticipate negative outcomes from its grand designs.
You mean a faction of our government fucked something up?
Yeah, shocker. I know.
So unlike our government.
Well, what's even more interesting than that is, again, surface level, government does bad shit. Now government, the agency that's going to be investigated for doing the bad shit, the ATF, has decided unilaterally. Well, not unilaterally, because we're going to get into what the Department of Justice had to say about this. They decided, hey, we have all that evidence of our bad shit that we did. You know what we should do with it? We should destroy it. Because if you did that, right? Just imagine. Not even illegal. Imagine you're in your house. A criminal comes into your house. You have a legal firearm. You shoot the guy. The guy lives and wants to sue you for shooting him because you used excessive force or whatever. You get taken to court for it. You think they're going to let you have your gun and destroy it before trial? No. Even for exercising your right to self-defense, you're probably going to get run through the ringer. And unless you're in a state that respects the Second Amendment like Florida, you're probably going to jail. Don't do that thing that I just said in New York or California, or God help you. But the ATF sells loads of illegal weapons to the most dangerous people some of the most dangerous people on the planet.
Oh, fuck that.
And they're just like, throw the evidence away.
Well, there's a documentary about the LAPD doing the exact same thing, like intentionally, like confiscating weapons and selling them, jumping across the border and selling them directly to the cartel.
Now, the plot thickens.
I knew it. It's like a shitty Fast and Furious movie. Even worse. Is this the part where Vin Diesel jumps over the fucking Grand Canyon and then The Rock gives him a high five going the opposite way?
Yeah,
is this the part?
That's exactly the part.
This is the part, isn't it? I fucking knew it. So predictable.
So I know what you're thinking, dear viewer, listener. You're thinking, guys, that sounds pretty bad. That they can just destroy their own evidence against them.
Yeah.
And you're right about that. But wait till you hear why and on whose recommendation it is that they destroy this. So we have the Inspector General from the Department of Justice has recommended to the FDA, the FDA, it's all the same, alphabet soup, to the FTA.
ATF?
ATF. Jesus, Dane, get
Christ,
it right.
Get your dyslexia under control here. I get my merds all mixed up.
Has recommended, hey, listen, FDA, FTC,
IDK,
FDA,
LOL,
ATF, FBI,
TTYL, OMW. It's all crazy shit.
BBLs.
What's that? BBWs?
Anyway,
you want to start going down this road?
The Inspector General from the Department of Justice has recommended that these guns be destroyed because you'll never guess. The most responsible people with guns in the entire world, the federal government, improperly stored the guns. And not just like, oh, well, they left one or two outside of a case. No, what the inspector general found is that there was a gun case or a gun vault where the guns should have been in, locked down tighter than a cannon so nobody can get in and steal them. And what did the brainlets at the ATF decide to do? They put the guns on top of the gun vault, which had room in it to store the guns. They just put it on top in cases, which anybody just stumbling through the ATF's warehouse could just pick it up, take it out. And the inspector general said, quote, thousands of firearm parts and ammunition were stolen because of this. And one final quote from the inspector general, quote, while these firearms were secured in shipping cases, the cases could be accessed by an individual using one of the ladders kept in the same area of the facility. Didn't even bother to put it in a separate room from the ladders. It's like guns here, ladder there. Hey, go take some. Now, it would be funny enough.
Imagine.
Right?
Imagine. You fucked up this hard at your job. Do you understand how fired you'd be?
Listen,
you wouldn't be able to work at that place anymore. If this was McDonald's, this is like I accidentally put my dick in the frying oil.
this is what we always say about
it looked like a fry. I figured I'd just put it in there and see if it felt right.
This is what we always say about government and incentives. There's no incentives to do the job right. As a matter of fact, there's incentives to do the job wrong and in as a corrupt a way as possible. So now listen, okay, there's layers to this onion, which you've already probably gathered what they all are.
Cookie, please.
Surface level, they were completely incompetent in terms of their whole Fast and Furious program to begin with.
Scary enough.
Right? No shocker there. All right, but the best and brightest are not going to work for the government, let alone the federal government. We get that. Okay, let's go to the next layer down. Next layer down is the incompetence is doubled down on by improperly storing the weapons such that the inspector general of the DOJ would even find all of these problems to begin with to recommend to them that they destroy the evidence of their malfeasance. Next layer under that, and I guess if you want to say this gets into conspiracy theory territory, you might think, well, was it really incompetence? Or did they leave these out on purpose and the inspector general playing along says, hey, you guys shouldn't have done this. The evidence has been tampered with. Why don't you go ahead and destroy it? Oh, that's very convenient for our case that the evidence would be destroyed and that the DOJ itself would recommend that we do it. I think we're going to take you up on that, Mr. Inspector General. Let's go ahead and destroy it. What do you say, boys? Yeah, let's do it. Whether it's blind incompetence, despite the fact that these are the same dipshits that will tell you that you, American citizen, aren't to be trusted with firearms, and that's why we need to take them all away from you. Even if it was just incompetence, that would be bad enough. But probably more likely, I'm trying to decide which way Occam's razor comes down on this one. The simpler answer might be that they did it on purpose, knowing, or at least having the DOJ on the take to say, hey, go ahead and destroy it. Yeah, okay, we'll destroy it. No sweat off our brow. We want them destroyed. Whichever way you go, these people have absolutely no moral authority and should have no legitimate legal authority to tell you, a private citizen, what you can and cannot arm yourself with, especially if what you choose to arm yourself with happens to be because of them.
It's just funny that whole argument that you need to make laws for people to own guns when law-abiding citizens follow the rules to own the guns. But nobody ever, it's never discussed in Congress or on TV or anything like that, that the people that are committing the crimes with these guns, most of the time, aside from school shooters, which don't want to Alex Jones this one, so we're just going to skirt that issue.
Yeah.
Most of the time, all these crimes that are committed with a deadly weapon, like a gun, the gun was procured by an illegal fashion, in an illegal sense. It wasn't
like being
owned
given
by
to
them.
you by the ATF.
Again, I don't want to tell you how to think, but all I'm saying is that they can't control the guns that they are supposed to control. What the fuck happens when we hand them all of our guns?
Yeah,
Are they going to put it in a crate where other criminals can just go, hey, grab that No, the step stool. Just the step stool. I only need the step stool. I can just open up. All right, all the guns we could ever want. And then the entire public is unarmed. Well, it sounds like we're about to get paid, boys. So
I swear to God, if you made this a skit on SNL,
it wouldn't be funny, like SNL isn't.
Because it would be too obvious.
Right.
And, you know, to wrap this segment up with our Epstein moment, you don't even have to go back that far in history. I found an article on CBS News from 2011, right when we were in the midst of the Fast and Furious scandal breaking. And the title of the article is Documents. ATF used, quote, Fast and Furious to make the case for gun regulations. So yeah, their purpose was, according to their own documents, not just to track down those terrible drug warlords on the other side of the border. It was also to make the case for gun regulations. And I mean, the whole game is given away at that point. That these people can't even be trusted to make up their own false flags to try to justify whatever illegal thing they want to do. And yes, make no uncertainty. There's no uncertainty about it. Every gun regulation is a violation of the Second Amendment. You can have your disagreement on that, but go fuck yourself.